Upon seeing the familiar forbidden arts Asura, he suddenly had a realization and immediately questioned the woman. "I didn't expect you to be colluding with the people of the Six-Path sect." The woman, however, still believed that his brother died innocently. Asura mentioned the sacred weapon and angrily shouted, "Your brother harmed the innocent, and even turned them into bone corrosion. It's all his deserved punishment." The woman was not willing to listen to this explanation. Just then, the four sisters' voice suddenly rang out from the side. "I was just worried that I wouldn't have the opportunity to teach you how to use your own flames to fight, but I didn't expect the experimental subject to come rushing in so quickly." I saw the four sisters' palm gathering a powerful blaze. Asura looked enviously and asked, "Can my flames also be used for fighting?" "Of course. Your Nine Heavens Thunder Flame is a top-tier celestial fire that can not only be used for damn refining, but also for fighting. Its power is truly formidable. It's just that using it to deal with such small fry is a bit overkill." Asura the fourth sister imparts the celestial fire manipulation art. She faces the heavenly tribulation of the poisonous lady's forbidden arts. She easily crushes it directly. Unexpectedly, the fourth sister was once again shocked by Asura's monstrous talent. Asura sees that the fourth sister can battle with flames. He hurriedly asked, "Can my fire also change forms?" The fourth sister condensed the scorching flame and explained, "Of course, your Nine Heavens Thunder Flame is a top-tier celestial fire. However, using it to deal with such small fries is a bit of an overkill." Facing Asura, the four sisters' disdainful attitude, and the woman's display of heavenly tribulation, she angrily shouted, "You dare to challenge heavenly tribulation with just yourself? You are really dreaming big." Asura was angry. "Am I not a person? There are clearly two of us here. Who are you looking down on?" The flame of the four sister condensed into countless palm prints and rushed towards the woman's heavenly tribulation. She immediately reminded Asura to watch carefully how the true fire control secret art is manipulated. "How much you can digest depends entirely on yourself." The voice fell. Two terrifying attacks collided with a bang. Asura on the side couldn't help but sigh. "When I was using the Nine Heavens Thunder Flame in battle before, I didn't output flames but spiritual chi. On the other hand, the fourth sister solely relies on controlling fire." She could easily suppress her opponent. Unexpectedly, the fourth sister did not take this battle seriously at all and directly asked Asura, "Have you operated carefully?" After she saw Asura nod, the huge palm condensed by the fourth sister actually directly crushed the heavenly tribulation. The fourth sister's voice timidly came, "Although your secret technique is powerful, the real heavenly tribulation formation requires someone at the Eternal King stage or above to manipulate it." When this was said, the malicious woman was shocked. She still hadn't reacted when the fourth sister manipulated the flames to directly blast her body away. Asura stared dumbfounded at the scene. "This is too fierce. If it weren't for my sister intentionally delaying time for me to observe the details of flame manipulation, the opponent probably wouldn't last 3 seconds before being instantly defeated." The four sisters' plan failed, and then she began manipulating the transformation of the flames. Between the wave of her hand, she actually turned the flames directly into a dragon scroll. The woman's body was instantly engulfed by the dragon scroll. Asura complimented the fourth sister behind her, saying she was really handsome. "Although I've trained my eyes, my body has not. Sister, you must teach me this fire control secret art." The fourth sister glanced at Asura, then took out a scroll from her chest. "I prepared this for you a long time ago. This celestial fire manipulation art is the precious secret book of my Wandan Valley. Take it back and practice well." After Asura received the secret book, his eyes lit up. He then thanked the fourth sister. The fourth sister kindly reminded on the side that this secret book not only allows control of flames and transformation at will, but also enhances the power of the flames. "Your fire fork is the Nine Heavens Thunder Flame, and I'm sure its power when unleashed is extraordinary." Just as the voice fell, it began, The four sisters' beautiful eyes widened in an instant. Asura's palm had already condensed into a flaming fist. The fourth sister was dumbfounded, looking at this. How is this possible? Even Dan Emperor, the fourth sister, never expected this. Asura's talent is so outrageous. Asura's second sister exudes the aura of the strongest half-saint in the canyon. As the fourth sister gets the fire control secret art from her chest to Asura. Unexpectedly, in just a few breaths of time, Asura is able to condense the fire fist in no time. The fourth sister suppressed her surprise, but couldn't help but exclaim, "What kind of monster is this kid? Just by glancing at the scripture a few times, he has already learned it." Asura couldn't help but curse in dissatisfaction. "Older sister, why can I only condense into a fist? How come I can't do what you did earlier with the big long scroll?" The fourth sister smiled and said, "You condensed into a fist with just one look at my demonstration. That's already quite impressive." Just then, a wild goose flew overhead. The fourth sister was surprised and exclaimed, "How did she come?" Spoiler alert, next to appear is the strongest half-saint, second sister. Asura, who was lost in thought, spoke up and asked the fourth sister to go back and rest well. "Starting tomorrow, we will begin round-the-clock special training. These assassins may have been sent by the Six-Pad sect to investigate your background." In her next words, there was a hint of command. How can you win against them in the Great Chu's martial trial if you don't intensify your training? Asura followed the fourth sister back to the palace. "In this period, 3 sisters have taken great pains to train me. The purpose is to make me stronger, so this time in the martial trial, I will definitely not disappoint everyone." The next morning, the fourth sister arrived at the Dan refining room upon hearing the sound. She heard Asura's voice through the glass, and the fourth sister was very pleased. It's good to see him training so diligently this early. She then pushed the door and entered. But seeing Asura's skillful Dan refining techniques, it is no wonder she is the fourth sister of the Dan Emperor. She couldn't help but be impressed by Asura's talent. Just then, Asura's confident voice suddenly rang out. "Sis, what score would you give my play just now?" The fourth sister snorted angrily, telling him not to get distracted. The Dan refining process lasted for a quarter of an hour. As Asura's gaze sharpened, his palm suddenly slapped on the Dan furnace, and a golden Dan pill burst out of the cauldron. Asura put it in his palm and smiled. The fourth sister was once again shocked to see such purity in the spiritual Chi Dan, marveling at Asura's talent. Facing Asura's endless stream of questions, the fourth sister began to explain. "The benefits of refining this Dan pill are very significant for you. The spiritual Chi Dan is an excellent elixir for the soul body. If you are accidentally attacked by evil energy, it will greatly damage your spiritual Chi. After taking it, you will quickly regain the strength of your physical body and soul." Asura directly hugged the fourth sister's thighs when he heard that. "Thank you for the fourth sister's kindness. It's great to have an older sister." The fourth sister caresses Asura. She gently said, "I am your sister. Of course, I will treat you well." Inside a palace of the Six-Pad sect at the same time, the traitor Song Rain is planning the next conspiracy. Facing the report from the woman, Song Hongyu had anticipated that Asura and Dan Emperor, who were members of the Eternal Peace Association, would certainly not stand a chance. The reporting woman, however, was slightly puzzled. So why still send someone to assassinate Asura? Upon hearing this, Song Rain suddenly stood up from the bathtub. She revealed the details of the Great Chu martial trial. If you want to take him down, of course you need to understand his strength in advance. It's just because Asura has humiliated Song Rain twice. So this time, Asura will become the target of public criticism. But Asura's power will crush everything. This woman is the most powerful half-saint on the mainland. Similarly, she is also the second sister of Asura, but they have different mothers. Today is the day when Dan Emperor the fourth sister and second sister hand over duties. Dan Emperor the fourth sister just woke up and heard Yajura's voice at the door, asking, "Is sister here? I have almost finished practicing my Dan refining technique and fire control art. Do you have any new secret manuals?" The sound suddenly stopped, and only saw the fourth sister wearing pajamas, seductively stretching lazily. Yajura's face blushed instantly, and quickly turned his back to apologize. The fourth sister suddenly approached and reached out her jade hand to touch Yajura's back, asking flirtatiously, "When did you become so diligent and eager to learn?" Yajura looked directly at the fourth sister's beautiful face and then began to explain. "Only by constantly enriching oneself can one become stronger." Upon hearing this, the fourth sister smiled and said, "Okay, in recognition of your hard work, I will teach you another move." After the fourth sister had put on her clothes, the two of them arrived at the Dan refining room, where the fourth sister sat cross-legged. She explained while refining the Saint Essence Dan. This kind of Dan pill can make the user burst out with powerful strength in a short period of time. Moreover, this kind of strength is an extremely pure physical strength. A pink Dan pill suddenly flew out from within the Dan furnace as the voice fell. After receiving the Dan pill, the fourth sister didn't forget to remind Yajura. This kind of Dan pill should not be taken too much. She then handed the Dan pill to Yajura. Immediately, she once again took out a manual on Dan pill from her chest and gave it to Yajura. It recorded various techniques for Dan refining. Yajura thanked the fourth sister for generously imparting her knowledge. Suddenly, a black messenger hawk swooped down at this moment. The fourth sister opened the letter with a smile on her face. To her surprise, her beautiful eyes widened instantly after she read the contents. Facing Yajura's worried questions on the side, the fourth sister then began to urge Yajura. The sixth sister mentioned in the letter that the Great Chu martial trial is only 2 days away. You need to pack up and head to Long City now. Before Yajura could say goodbye to the fourth sister, she hurriedly pushed Yajura out of the palace. However, Yajura was unaware that the letter also mentioned that the second sister, the strongest half-saint, was also coming. In the afternoon, Yajura packed up his things and bid farewell to the fourth sister. The fourth sister gave him encouragement from behind. Yajura, however, was unaware that when the martial trial arrived, several sisters would gather in Long City. They simply handed Yajura over to the second sister. Yajura's figure moved along the way to Long City. He remembered the days he spent away from Taisek cultivating. Now, without the company of his sisters, he felt a bit uncomfortable for a moment. At that moment, a woman's voice suddenly sounded. "Hee, finally found you, Yajura." Yajura was startled. Then, he quickly pulled out his sacred weapon and stepped back. As soon as he moved away, a huge rock suddenly fell from the ground beneath his feet. Yajura didn't have time to exclaim at the speed of the flying huge rock. A palm condensed with vital chi grasped it in hand. Yajura opened his mouth angrily and shouted, "What kind of hero are you to attack sneakily? If you have the ability, come and face me head-on." Oh, looks like someone has a fiery temper. A figure of a woman in red slowly walked out, not knowing that she is Yajura's second sister, the strongest half-saint. The second sister joked, "The more you struggle, the more excited I become. It's too easy if you just give in. I find it boring." Yajura said goodbye to the fourth sister right before. He was then caught by the strongest half-saint, second sister. The moment they exchanged blows, he was caught by second sister. Asura still doesn't know that this woman is his second sister. He directly threatened to confront the attacker head-on. Unexpectedly, second sister showed interest and surrendered too easily. I found it rather boring instead. However, the more you struggle, the more excited sister gets. Listening to the woman's twisted words, Yajura quickly lowered his posture. "Senior, have you mistaken me for someone else? We have no grievances or enmity between us. You're playing bondage right away. Isn't this a bit inappropriate?" How about you let me go first, and then we sit down and chat slowly. Second sister suddenly stepped forward, examining Asura's face and said, I'm not mistaken, you are Asura. Asura's face lit up with a cunning smile, like a panda upon hearing this. Then he spoke up to defend himself, saying, So you are looking for Asura? Senior, you have really mistaken me this time. I am just an unknown junior, please spare me. Second sister, however, does not believe Asura's words. With a lift of her finger, she disperses the bound giant palm. Asura opened his mouth to inquire about the reason. There must be a reason for catching me, right? Second sister, however, teased without revealing her identity as second sister. There isn't really a special reason, just want you to accompany me for a mountain hike. Asura did not know that this sister intended to take her for a robbery. Asura was speechless for a moment. Then he quickly found an excuse to excuse himself. Senior, let's postpone climbing the mountain to another time. I have to hurry to participate in the Great Chu Martial Trial. When he said this, second sister's eyes turned cold. Asura saw that she did not intervene, so he planned to leave a way to contact her for another meeting next time. Second sister, however, set an impossible condition. If you want to leave, it's also not impossible. As long as you can defeat me, I will let you go. How about it? Asura's heart felt like a bolt from the blue. But he still agreed in the end. Since there is no way to escape anyway, he might as well bravely face it and fight to the death. His idea failed. Asura mentioned the sacred weapon and suddenly blasted towards second sister. Before the sword shadow could touch the hem of second sister's clothes, her figure leaped into the air, easily dodging the attack. Immediately, she gathered vital chi in her palm and taunted. Too slow! Her voice trailed off. She instantly released the whirlpool of vital chi from her hand. After Asura used the Nine Heavens Thunder Flame to clash head-on with second sister's vital chi attack. Second sister's embarrassed voice came through. Although the thunder and lightning are fierce, unfortunately the power is insufficient, and the spiritual chi is not stable enough. The heavenly thunder was instantly torn apart by second sister's vital chi. The powerful force directly sent Asura's body flying, leaving a skid mark on the ground. Second sister spoke, asking him to give up. Unexpectedly, Asura, using the celestial fire manipulation art taught to him by the fourth sister, smiled. Until the last moment, the outcome was still uncertain. As the Nine Heavens Thunder Flame spread throughout his body, a huge fireball appeared behind him. Seeing this familiar secret technique, second sister smiled and revealed her identity. Well done! You have even mastered the secrets of the fourth sister. As soon as these words were spoken, the flames behind Asura instantly disappeared. He awkwardly asked, Are you the fourth sister, I the fourth sister? In that case, are you also my sister? Second sister responded with a simple, Yes. I am indeed your second sister. The strongest half-saint. Xian Yuan Su. This woman is the strongest half-saint on the continent. Asura still doesn't know that the arrogant woman in front of her is actually her second sister. Facing second sister's demand to climb the mountain. As Asura was about to use the secret technique taught by fourth sister in a fight to the death, second sister directly revealed her identity. Oh, not bad, you've actually learned all of fourth sister's secret techniques. When these words were said, Asura was shocked. The woman revealed that she was the strongest half-saint, second sister. Asura's mouth fell open in disbelief, shocked that my second sister turned out to be the strongest half-saint. Then second sister asked the question again, whether you are still willing to accompany her to climb the mountain? Asura's arrogant attitude instantly changed. Let's climb! We will climb immediately as long as sister gives the command. Little brother is ready to accompany you at any time. Second sister showed a satisfied smile. Immediately, she embraced Asura and set off directly. Asura asked her in confusion, Why is my sister so determined to climb mountains? What is it for? Secret? With a drop in her voice, second sister disappeared with Asura in an instant from the place. In the blink of an eye, Asura found himself at the foot of a mountain. Facing Asura's confusion, second sister explained on the side. "We have already arrived at Long City. This is the mountain below the four deity sect." Upon hearing this, Asura couldn't help but exclaim, "Truly deserving of the title of the strongest half-saint. Being able to teleport through space, they have directly crossed a day's worth of travel." The elder sister caressed the mink fur on her clothing as she revealed the purpose of their trip. "Do you know why I brought you here to climb the mountain?" The answer is right above. On this sacred mountain, there is a magical rainbow fruit tree that absorbs the essence of heaven and earth. It only bears fruit once every 100 years. My sister calculated it a long time ago, and today happens to be the day it bears fruit. Asura instantly understood second sister's meaning, and then she spoke to persuade her. "You wouldn't be planning to take me up there to steal the spiritual fruit, would you? That wouldn't be right, would it?" Second sister corrected Asura's wording, and then she assertively stated, "How can you call it stealing? The rainbow fruit tree is an ancient object. The four deity sect existed before it was founded. We are just here to pick the fruits, which has nothing to do with stealing." Asura knew at a glance that this second sister was already a habitual offender. Later, second sister began to instigate Asura, saying, "During our battle just now, you didn't even touch a single hair of mine. It shows that you still need to improve your overall strength." Asura was left speechless at these words. Does second sister not know that she is the strongest half-saint at the peak of the mainland? Who can compete with her? Second sister began to seduce Asura. "As long as you can eat the rainbow fruit, your cultivation level will increase significantly in a short period of time." She then lightly patted Asura's shoulder and reiterated the previous question. "With your monstrous aptitude, eating just one fruit can save you several years of cultivation compared to others. Are you sure you want to miss out on this opportunity?" "What are we waiting for then? Let's go, second sister, and pick some fruits on the mountain." Yes, Asura, second sister was unexpectedly annihilated in an instant. Two spiritual emperor stage elders. He faced the request from the strongest half-saint second sister to steal fruit. Asura directly refused. Who would have expected that second sister would actually start to encourage Asura, saying, "With your demoniac aptitude, by eating a fruit, you can cultivate for several years. This benefit, are you sure you don't want it?" As soon as this was said, Asura's attitude instantly changed. "What are you waiting for? Hurry up and go up the mountain." Second sister held back the excited Asura, telling him not to be in a hurry. Then she solemnly added, "I can feel it. There are two old guys at the spiritual emperor stage guarding the mountain. It won't be easy to get past them. By the way, it is known that the strongest individuals on this continent are at the spiritual emperor stage. However, Asura's 6 older sisters surpass even the spiritual emperor stage." Second sister handed the cloak with a hidden aura to Asura to help conceal his own aura. Asura asked in confusion, "And what about you, sister?" Unexpectedly, second sister was able to cut off her aura with just a thought, impressing Asura, who raised a thumbs-up gesture behind him. He couldn't help but exclaim, "It seems like my second sister really has her own unique skills." Even though she is standing right in front of him, he couldn't feel her aura at all. However, he always felt that this second sister seemed to be walking down the wrong path. Thoughts were interrupted as they heard second sister urging Asura to quickly put on his cloak and follow her. After the two arrived at the mountaintop, they saw 2 old men meditating with their eyes closed. Second sister's message reminded Asura that while these 2 old guys seemed to be in a trance, they were actually vigilant. "Just wait here for me later." The two soon locked their gaze onto the location of the rainbow fruit. The moment when the fruit is ripe will be the best time for the two to make their move. 2 old men also spoke at this moment, suddenly praising the rainbow fruit. This time's quality should be the highest since the establishment of the 4 deity sect. And there were 2 of them appearing at the same time. Just at this moment, the rainbow tree began to emit a rich vital chi. Two old men immediately stood up, and second sister, seeing this, directly exposed her own aura. Two old men at the spiritual emperor stage instantly sensed the spatial fluctuations. The old man suddenly swung two strands of vital chi towards the location of second sister, seeing the two spiritual emperor stage old men take action at the same time. Asura couldn't help but worry about second sister's safety, only to see two old men releasing the powerful long scroll around them to isolate intruders, feeling the raging winds in the air. Asura, he started transmitting his voice. "Second sister, are you okay? If today doesn't work out, let's retreat. After all, the opponent is two spiritual emperor stage experts. It's not worth risking our lives." His voice trailed off. Asura's body was instantly swept up into the air by a fierce wind. At this moment, second sister's figure ghostly passed through two long screen barriers. She immediately condensed an ice blade in her palm. She directly froze the bodies of the two elderly men. The gale also stopped, and Asura's body fell heavily from the sky. At that moment, second sister's voice suddenly sounded. "All taken care of. Come out now." Asura looked up, only to see second sister. She was stepping on two old men who were beaten unconscious with wooden sticks. Asura exclaimed in disbelief. "Spiritual Emperor stage was solved with just one blow?" Second sister turned her head with a look of arrogance and said, "So what? Just the measly Spiritual Emperor stage. I haven't even put it in my eyes." Asura. Second sister was instantly annihilated, taking down two Spiritual Emperor stages with her. She broke through once again for him before the Great Chu martial trial. Several sisters gathered at the Great Chu martial trial. There was a continuous stir in the venue. Asura looked at the two old men under second sister's skirt and asked worriedly, "Is it really okay to just use a stick?" Second sister reassured him, saying that with this hit from my stick, they won't wake up for a short time. Later, second sister picked the rainbow fruit from the tree and threw it to Asura. He quickly ate it, otherwise the spiritual chi would disappear if he delayed any longer. Asura thanked second sister and didn't stand on ceremony. He directly stuffed it into his mouth. With the entry of the spiritual fruit into his body, Asura was instantly filled with its powerful energy throughout his body. He felt his body expanding uncontrollably and hurriedly pleaded with second sister to save him. Second sister condensed a strand of soft vital chi with her fingers. She then stepped forward and tapped Asura's forehead. "Don't worry, these are all spiritual power. You will naturally recover after refining it slowly." Asura only put down his worries after hearing this. He had thought he was going to die of explosive body. He then sat cross-legged. He started the 9 revolutions tyrant dance to refine the dense spiritual chi within his body. The fourth sister is watching this scene. A charming smile appears on her pretty face. With it, the Great Chu martial trial is a piece of cake. 2 days later, inside the arena of Long City martial trial, I saw that the spectator stand was already filled with disciples from various sects. The crowd began to discuss who the leader of this challenge would be. Currently, the most controversial issue is Long Xian's physique in the 4 deity sects. Indestructible Vajra body. Another one is Yufeng's physique in the 6-pad sect. 7 killing ruined body. Afterward, everyone began teasing the Tai sect where Asura is located. As the eyes gazed around, only 3 familiar figures were seen standing tall among them. The 3 individuals are respectively already in a close relationship with Asura. Little junior sister Qin Lyra, who has fallen into the role of a married couple, and Shifu Emperor Luo and sect leader. Listening to the mocking voices coming from the crowd, Qin Lyra furrowed her eyebrows. "These people actually completely look down on us." Sect leader asked behind, "Where is Asura? Why hasn't he arrived yet?" Emperor Luo shook her head at the words. "But he has his elder sisters here. I think he should be fine." Just then, a deep voice of the messenger eunuch suddenly sounded. The great Chu Marshal has arrived! As Asura's six sisters' figure entered the scene, the crowd immediately exploded with excitement. A sect leader hurried forward to greet and welcome the esteemed marshal. Asura's sixth sister waved her hand, indicating that there was no need for excessive formalities. She was just here to casually observe, so there was no need to be nervous. Unexpectedly, Dan Emperor Joan Lyra also entered the venue. The crowd exploded again when Asura the fourth sister appeared, with a temperament that was not inferior to the sixth sister at all. The crowd began to suspect that Dan Emperor had personally arrived. Could it be that among the contestants, there is a highly talented Dan alchemist? Just then, another explosion sounded beside the arena. I saw Asura's third sister. The figure of feral beast Palace's palace lord is sitting upright on the back of a phoenix. Asura and several elder sisters. They gathered together at the great Chu Marshal trial to cheer for Asura. The entire audience stand in awe. After the appearance of the sixth sister, there was an instant sensation in the audience. The host of the meeting, the sect leader of the four deity sect, quickly stepped forward to compliment her. With the Dan Emperor, the fourth sister, stepping on auspicious clouds following closely behind. The aura is no less than the sixth sister. The audience at the battle platform is confused. Has Dan Emperor also arrived? Could it be that there is a very talented Dan alchemist among the participants this time? At this moment, another explosion sounded on the arena. I saw Feral Beast Palace's palace lord, the third sister, sitting upright on the back of a phoenix. As the third sister's figure landed on the ground, the sect leader quickly made a salute and said, "Palace Lord, Lord Dan Emperor, could you both come to our four deity sect for the martial trial? It really brightens my sect's reputation. I will arrange the best viewing positions for the three of you immediately." The fourth sister then turned her gaze towards the Tai sect where Asura was. She then said, "No need to trouble yourselves, we will sit over there." Seeing the three big shots all heading towards the Tai sect, the mocking and ridicule towards the Tai sect immediately ceased. Just at this moment, the referee began the opening remarks. "We are grateful for everyone's support. Today, we are all gathered here at the four deity sect. This competition follows a challenge system, where the winner defends their title, and the loser exits the stage." Jean Lyra, however, had no intention of listening, her jade hands placed on her chest, revealing a worried expression. "What do we do? The competition is starting soon. Asura's senior brother hasn't arrived yet? I hope he hasn't encountered any danger?" Just then, the third sister touched Lyra's jade hand to reassure her. With her sisters around, he will be fine. Sect leader of the four deities sect briefly explained some rules of the arena, and just as he was about to announce the formal start of the martial trial, a woman's angry voice from the sky suddenly interrupted him. "Wait!" This statement shocked everyone. Disciples in the spectator stands behind started discussing who was so bold as to interrupt the speech of the sect leader of the four deities sect. Look at the sect leader's face. It's as black as a piece of coal. Looks like that person is in big trouble. Shortly after, a voice suddenly echoed in the spectator stand saying, "Sorry I'm late." Following the voice, it was none other than the charming and attractive woman Asura, the second sister, the most powerful half-saint Xianyuan Su. Seeing the most powerful half-saint had also arrived, everyone couldn't believe it. How could such a small event like the Great Chu Martial Trial attract such a big shot? The figure of Asura also shortly appeared, followed by Jean Lyra rushing forward anxiously to inquire about the situation. Asura apologized to everyone, and Empyrean Luo showed a relieved smile, stepping forward to pat Asura on the shoulder. The sixth sister and the third sister then carefully examined Asura for a while. After thoroughly assessing Asura's cultivation level, they both praised in admiration. Asura felt embarrassed for a moment. Indeed, he really couldn't hide anything from his sisters. Fourth sister covered her mouth and laughed. "Second sister is here." Cultivation level is improving quite quickly. At this moment, the sect leader of 4 deity sect had a dark expression on his face. He knew that Xianyuan half-saint was not someone to be trifled with. She could only awkwardly ask, "Xianyuan half-saint, why did you suddenly come?" He quickly turned around and instructed his disciple to arrange the seating. Second sister waved her hand and said, "You guys continue. I'll just take a look around." The voices fell silent. Second sister's figure also headed towards Tai's sect. The crowd exploded with excitement. Why is this person going to Tai's sect again? Although Tai's sect has little hope of winning, the spectators are gathering in large numbers. At that moment, the sect leader of 4 deity sect announced the decision for the first round draw. The first matchup is between Tai's sect and Wuji sect. The sect leader spoke up, indicating that Lyra would be the first one to take the stage. Lyra responded with a yes and stepped forward. With steady steps, she walked towards the stage, determined. After going through rigorous training under the sect leader, "I cannot disappoint everyone," she thought, her determination unwavering. Her delicate hand was suddenly grabbed. Queen Lyra turned her beautiful eyes and saw that it was Asura. Asura's voice came timidly. "Sect leader, why don't you let me go? After all, I am Lyra's senior brother and also her husband in name. I should pave the way for her." Lyra felt a warm surge in her heart, and a blush appeared on her pretty face. Asura replaces Queen Lyra as the first participant in the martial trial. The 4 sisters at the spectator platform silenced the crowd with their presence. Asura easily swept aside all the enemies. The sect leader signaled for Lyra to make her first appearance. After this period of training, Queen Lyra walked confidently onto the stage. At that moment, Asura grabbed Lyra's jade hand and stopped her. Later, he turned his head and said to the sect leader, "Let me be the first to go after all. I am Lyra's senior brother and have the added responsibility as her husband. I should pave the way for her and clear all enemies." Lyra's heart was filled with warmth, a hint of blush appearing on her cheeks. Senior brother sect leader smiled and nodded in response to the words. She also wants to see what guidance these several sisters at the pinnacle of the mainland can offer, and how much he can grow. Asura arrived, nodded in thanks, and then took big strides into the arena. The 4 prominent figures in the crowd, who have not yet noticed the viewing platform, are all his sisters, and they are all jeering at him. An in-turn disciple dares to represent the sect? Is the Tai sect really that weak? Faced with the successive jeers from the crowd, the strongest half-saint, second sister, suddenly shouted, "Too noisy!" The 3rd sister and the 6th sister looked around the room and threatened, "Can you all be a little quieter?" When this was said, the crowd instantly fell silent. These ladies are not ones to be provoked by them. The referee also announced the official start of the first match. The man from the Wuji sect directly taunted Asura, saying, "Kid, why don't you just admit defeat? Otherwise, I might not be able to control myself later and end up seriously injuring you." Asura lazily yawned and said, "You talk too much. Come on, let's get this over with. I still have to defeat the next opponent." The man's eyes turned cold at the words. He leaped forward and charged towards Asura's head. His palm also suddenly swelled several times at this moment. Asura simply raised his fist and directly collided with the man's fist wind that still had some remaining power, taunting, "I thought your strength was as tough as your mouth, but turns out it's just SOSO." As the voice fell, Asura's fist exerted a bit more force. The man unexpectedly spat out blood and was sent flying backward for 100 meters in an instant. The battle lasted only a moment. The referee announced Asura as the winner after he defeated the Earth Essence stage contestant with one move. As he listened to the uproar from the spectators, Asura smiled. The referee then announced a half-hour break before continuing the competition. Asura waved his hand and said, "No need. We can continue now. Time is money, my friend. Let's not delay." As the voice fell, a man's voice suddenly sounded on the platform. Just an intern disciple dares to be so arrogant. Let Big Brother teach you a lesson. Asura then waved his hand with a disdainful expression. The man cursed angrily, and then unleashed his martial arts skills, rushing towards Asura suddenly. Unexpectedly, before he could get close to Asura, all around him, he was then struck by a beam of energy and sent flying out of the ring. As one disciple after another from the Wuji sect steps up to challenge on the stage, Asura continues to use a simple and unadorned move to defeat the entire sect. As the referee announced that Taiseki Asura won, the crowd began to question. Are these all Earth Essence stage contestants? Are the current novice disciples so strong now? Is this the strength of Tai's sect, being able to easily defeat 5 people in a row like this? Senior brother is so amazing. After Asura easily defeated all the enemies in the martial trial, he unexpectedly encountered Song Rain, who had previously failed to usurp the throne. In order to participate in the competition, he actually willingly took on the role of a newcomer disciple. Asura once wiped out a sect by himself. Second sister smiled. Oh, not bad at all. Just within the time of burning an incense stick, we have already defeated a sect. Sheem Lyra opened her mouth in disbelief. Is senior brother so powerful now? Asura the fourth sister's voice came from behind. It seems that the devil training during this period has had some effect, right? After the first round of competition, the next step is to compete with the evil 6-pad sect. After returning to the spectator stands, Emperor Luo immediately asked Asura to make some adjustments. He didn't take a break in the middle of these consecutive battles. Asura lightly patted Sherifu's shoulder to reassure him. The match just now was just a warm-up for me, and I didn't expend too much energy. Asura had already, with the help of second sister, refined the rainbow fruit earlier and successfully broke through to the 4th heaven of the Earth Essence stage. Combat power is not something that cultivators at the Earth Essence stage can easily challenge. After half an hour, Asura entered the stage again, only to find that this time he was actually facing a familiar woman. This person is none other than Song Rain, the malicious woman who previously attempted to seize the position of sect leader at Tai sect and failed. Song Rain spoke gloomily upon sensing the aura emitted by Asura. It seems that your strength has indeed increased significantly during this period, hasn't it? Seeing the face of Song Rain, Emperor Luo was shocked. This is the leader of peak-level person. How could he appear on the arena? The sect leader's face also darkened. Emperor Luo directly voiced his objections. It doesn't seem reasonable for Song Rain, the former leader of Peak of Tai sect, to compete as a disciple of 6-pad sect. The judges were helpless because the rule is that new disciples can all participate. Song Rain has been in 6-pad sect for less than a year, so he is eligible to compete. Emperor Luo angrily cursed. The voice of the third sister sounded behind. She is willing to lower her status to participate in the newcomer matrial trial. I'm afraid she is well prepared for this. Asura, on the other hand, still relentlessly taunted, saying, So you became a new disciple after failing to seize power, huh? Hello, since you are also a leader of Peak, how did you end up in such a sorry state? Facing Asura's sarcasm, Song Rain gathered vital chi in her palm and charged towards Asura suddenly. You publicly humiliated me twice. You also ruined my plan. Today, I won't beat you to the ground begging for mercy. It's hard to ease the hatred in my heart. Watching the attack close at hand, Asura brought out the sacred weapon, revealing a smile. The terrifying aura of the 9 heavens thunder flame began to emanate around. The two attacks collided, causing Asura to retreat, while Song Rain was directly sent flying by the impact. Asura opened his mouth to mock, saying, It seems like you haven't been doing well since leaving Tai sect. Now you can't even defeat a novice disciple like me? Unexpectedly, Song Rain then revealed a malicious smile. Then why don't you give this move a try? At her right palm, an eerie purple aura unexpectedly condensed. With a wave of her hand, A strike similar to Asura's attack suddenly hit Asura's body. Feeling the power of thunder and flame, Asura was shocked. How could this be my nine heavens thunder flame? On the observation platform, Jean Lyra also exclaimed in surprise at senior brother's move. How could she also know it? Just then, second sister's voice suddenly sounded. It's the forbidden arts of illusions. This is a unique forbidden arts of the southern frontier kingdom. By using concealed weapons, one can perfectly replicate the opponent's moves. It takes at least a decade or more to master. The wicked woman surprisingly cultivated the forbidden arts in secret for 10 years. Only to seek revenge on Asura today for the 2 humiliations from the past. The most powerful half-saint's second sister imparts secret techniques to Asura. Asura clearly loses to Song Rain after a direct confrontation. Unexpectedly, she had hidden a concealed weapon in the palm of her hand. She used forbidden arts to replicate Asura's moves and fought back. Asura raised the sacred weapon in front of him to block the attack. Several people saw Asura's thunder flame being overwhelmed by the replicated thunder flame. Jean Lyra worriedly asked why it was the same move. Why was the power she unleashed much stronger than senior brothers? Asura's third sister spoke up to explain that although their techniques are similar, her cultivation level is actually stronger than Asura's. Naturally, her attacks are more powerful than Asura's. As the voice fell, there was a sudden explosion in the field. Asura flashed backwards. Seeing Asura at a disadvantage, Song Rain's voice came timidly. Oh! You were pretty arrogant just now. Why can't you handle it now? Asura opened his mouth furiously and shouted. Don't you have any tricks up your sleeve? What's the point of fighting back with the same moves as me? Song Rain relies on the evil art he cultivated, and still looks down on others. Is this move restricted for your use only? I, Song Rain, fight based on my skill. Remember this. Why do you say that? Jean Lyra couldn't help but curse angrily in the spectator stand. She's too much. Empyrean Luo consoled helplessly behind her, as there's currently no clear evidence to prove that she's using the southern frontier forbidden arts. The sect leader chimed in agreement, eagerly wanting to expose her now. It's possible that she might turn the tables on us. After all, since she defected from our sect, she would only think that we have a grudge against her, which is why she said that. Use Asura from the field. Just deal with it. Asura still has many moves. I don't believe you can steal all my moves. As the voice fell, the surrounding area began to fill with blood. Song Rain is also condensing at this moment. The palm of the hidden weapon is attacking in the air. Asura activates 9 revolutions tyrant blood and suddenly strikes it down. After Song Rain locks eyes on the move, her right hand continues to replicate. She unexpectedly struck the same move again. Seeing the 9 revolutions tyrant blood could also be duplicated, Asura couldn't help but be surprised. He quickly raised his sword to block the attack and disperse the residual waves. At this moment, Song Rain once again condensed Asura's 9 revolutions tyrant blood. She rushed towards Asura and didn't forget to taunt him. After all, I was once a leader of peak. Both in terms of cultivation level and skills, I am much better than you. Isn't it normal for you to lose to me? The sound fell, and Asura was directly shaken several meters away by his own attack. Seeing this scene, the third sister inquired from the observation platform if second sister was the one in her right hand, right? Second sister responded with a sound. But now we can only rely on Asura to find out by himself. After stabilizing his body, Asura couldn't help but admire the ruthlessness of Song Rain's move. He then wiped away the dust from the corners of his mouth and made a secret decision. How can I make this woman yield easily? Then he raised his confident smile again. Isn't that just showing off my 2 tricks? What's there to be proud of? Song Rain's face is now full of eerie expression. I advise you to give up. You have no chance of winning this battle. Asura is recalling previous moves. Always like a mirror. Thinking about the mirror, Asura suddenly realized that her moves will definitely be used after mine. Just at this moment, the voice of second sister suddenly came to mind, being able to quickly see through her tricks. You're not bad at all. Asura turned his head to look at second sister on the spectator platform. I saw second sister using her soul to telepathically communicate after refining the rainbow fruit. Mastering this move is a piece of cake for me. Upon hearing this, Asura began to focus, while second sister started teaching the moves. Colorful sound strings started emanating around Asura after the telepathic communication. Second sister furrowed her willow-shaped eyebrows slightly. Suddenly she shouted, "Go! Don't disappoint me this time, sister!" Asura's strongest half-saint second sister is teaching martial arts moves. He publicly announced the evil cultivate forbidden arts practiced by the wicked woman. Just as Asura discovered the evil art of song rain, second sister starts soul communication. As all the colorful musical notes reflected in Asura's mind, second sister furrowed her brows and suddenly spoke, "Go! Don't disappoint your sister this time." Asura responded promptly, "Yes, I will follow orders." Then his palm began to condense an ice blade. Song Rain watched Asura's moves and planned to continue copying them. Asura's body instantly leaped into the air, preparing to perform a martial arts technique. Song Rain once again used the hidden weapon in his right palm to launch a series of attacks. Seeing the several ice spikes condensed by Asura, the third sister showed a look of satisfaction on the side. This is the flying blade soldier slash of the second sister. Just as Song Rain began to replicate the flying blade, she instantly realized something was wrong. She saw the ground beneath her suddenly frozen, and she didn't expect that this time Asura would cast a paralyzing spell on her. And Asura, who was suspended in the air, could not be frozen. After Asura landed on the ground, the sixth sister praised behind her. "Not bad. Being able to learn this move in just a few days, he truly lives up to being my stinky bro." Second sister suddenly revealed a devilish smile, correcting sixth sister's mistake. It wasn't a few days, but just now. Upon hearing this, even the other sisters couldn't believe it. The fourth sister instantly understood that second sister must have quietly passed on the secret techniques to Asura using telepathy just now. After all, the rules do not explicitly forbid this. Song Rain then roared on the stage, "What exactly did you do to me?" Asura returned to normal, disdainfully saying, "Are you blind? Can't you see for yourself?" A few sisters started to discuss again, saying, "Even if second sister is using voice transmission, this brat is also learning too fast, isn't he?" Second sister then commented, "Although he has learned it, his actual operation is still not very proficient. If it weren't for this Song Rain being too confident, she wouldn't have fallen for the evil art so quickly either." Just at this moment, Sherfu Empyrean Luo of Asura suddenly spoke up and said, "Sorry to interrupt everyone. I know that His Highness, the Great Marshal, and the Palace Lord are the sisters of Asura, but the Dan Emperor also calls the strongest half-saint second sister. Does that mean the strongest half-saint is also a sister of Asura?" The four of them answered in unison, and the correct answer was confirmed. When this statement was made, Empyrean Luo couldn't help but angrily curse. "Asura, this kid is really good at being reborn." At this point, on the battlefield, Song Rain took the initiative to speak evilly. "If you have the ability, release the binding technique. Let's have a fair fight." Asura, on the other hand, looked disdainful, and then his voice rang out across the field. "You are not worthy to talk such nonsense. Using techniques copied by discreetly using forbidden arts, where can you claim to be righteous?" As soon as these words were spoken, the spectators at the platform began to discuss. "No wonder this woman is so powerful. Turns out she used forbidden arts." Listening to the uproar outside the arena, Song Rain's face turned pale with anger. If she is proven guilty, Asura's sisters are not likely to be so lenient. Asura is also questioning the referee at this moment, asking why the verdict has not been announced yet, since she has not attacked for the duration of an instant stick. The referee just woke up from the commotion and was about to announce Asura as the winner. Song Rain protested with tears not falling until the coffin is seen. I protest. He used some inexplicable secret technique to restrain me. I have no way to fight back at all. He clearly violated the rules of the competition. Upon hearing this, Asura retorted using the earlier words of Song Rain. What a joke! The moves I make are based on my skills. Why do you say that? The referee also agrees. Moreover, Asura's moves are played out openly and fairly. Song Rain, upon hearing this, started a malicious argument. Isn't it normal for me to see through your moves with my current cultivation level, then openly counterattack without any basis for your claim that I use forbidden arts? As soon as these words were spoken, the onlookers at the viewing platform suddenly realized. It's true, just as the sect leader said, this woman's thick-skinned attitude is truly unmatched. The sect leader also echoed from behind, saying that she is just taking advantage of the fact that Asura cannot reveal the concealed weapon in her body. So she dares to be so arrogant because if she cannot force out the hidden weapon, he cannot prove that she is using them. Southern Frontier Forbidden Arts. Asura seemed to have anticipated this. I knew you, this woman, would definitely say that. He then took out a Dan pill from his pocket. He then flicked it towards Song Rain, and Asura's voice rang out. I'll make you die with understanding. Asura not only displayed his talent for combat, and he also demonstrated the Dan refining technique taught by Dan Emperor the Fourth Sister. He directly controlled the delicate body of Song Rain. When Long Flame appeared, it not only caused a stir in the spectator stand, but also received constant attention. Even Asura, a few sisters at the pinnacle on the mainland. They couldn't help but praise. Facing Song Rain's repeated insults with the cultivate evil art, Asura directly popped a Dan pill out of his sleeve. The Dan pill suddenly shot towards the immobilized Song Rain. He intended to make her die with clarity. As the Dan pill entered Song Rain's mouth, Dan Emperor the Fourth Sister saw at a glance that this was the soul-binding Dan. Facing Qin Lyra's confusion, Dan Emperor the Fourth Sister spoke up to explain. This is a type of Dan pill that can freely control a person's mind and consciousness. Dan refining practitioners can control others by having them consume the Dan pill, to manipulate the other person's consciousness and behavior in this way. But this soul-binding Dan is a 5-grade Dan pill from the Dan Pill's secret manual. It's not easy for him to refine it. Sect leader explained on the side that it's not easy for this kid to refine a 5-grade Dan pill. It shows that his talent in Dan refining is pretty good. It is very fortunate that the Fourth Sister, Dan Emperor, nurtured the Dan pill manual in her embrace. At this moment, Song Rain also realizes that her body is gradually losing consciousness. How could this kid have such a thing? Curses fall afterwards. He looks at Song Rain, who is standing upright and graceful. Asura smiles. Then, he manipulated the Dan pill with his palm and asked Song Rain, what method did you use to copy all the moves of Asura after receiving Asura's commands? Song Rain murmured, Southern Frontier secret technique. Once this statement was made, there was a commotion within the Six-Path sect where Song Rain sought refuge. Just as everyone was wondering how Asura managed to force Song Rain to reveal the secrets of cultivating forbidden arts, Asura asked again, what is the original form you used to copy techniques? And where is it now? Song Rain picked up his right hand and muttered, Sovereign Bluestone. It is now in the palm of my right hand. Only to see a summons device suddenly appearing in the palm. Asura raised his hand and sucked the summoning device into his palm. Then, the Six-Path sect behind Song Rain began to protest the judgment. I remember the rules clearly stated that only contestants who are alchemists themselves can use Dan pills. As far as I know, this in turn disciple from the Tai sect is not an alchemist. He is not a Dan alchemist at all. It is unfair for him to use Dan pills here to control our contestants. When Asura heard this, he smiled and said jokingly, "Who said I am not a Dan alchemist? Isn't the flame inside me and the Dan pill she took the best proof of being a Dan alchemist?" As Asura condensed the long flame in his palm, a commotion broke out in the viewing platform. "This is actually the flame of the long. I thought it was just a legend, didn't expect it to actually exist." At this moment, Song Rain is gradually waking up. Wait until consciousness is restored. Her pupils suddenly widened. Then she realized that her summoner had already fallen into the hands of Asura. She couldn't help but curse, "Damn it, I actually fell for this kid's trick." Upon seeing the awake Song Rain Asura, a timid voice rang out, "Oh, you're awake so soon." Facing Song Rain's angry voice, Asura opened his mouth to question. "You just said there is no evidence. How do you prove that you are using the Southern Frontier forbidden arts?" Then his gaze flicked towards the 6-path sect behind Song Rain and continued speaking. "You personally admitted it just now. Everyone heard it. Besides, the thing I have in my hand, there's still the logo of Southern Frontier on top.